Time again to tell you about the good things going on in our community on this edition of Litter Media Live. With the icon Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey, and we are color coordinated once again. The one who's not is the guy who never gets the memo.
You don't have your black pants on, though.
I don't. Black pants is for Friday, and that'll be tomorrow, which I'll not be here tomorrow. I'll be down visiting with the kids at Western High School tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll do something.
Okay.
We had some of the kids in from their West Side Media production that they're doing down in Pike County. Mm-hmm. And so we'll be visiting with some of those kids and helping them film some of what they're doing with their STEAM Day. So it should be a good bit of fun for us. And it's always fun to try and keep up with those kids because it ain't easy.
Gotcha.
We've got one of our own. Right off to the left there, Mr. Hand 2, and that is Aaron Glandon, who's producing our show, and he's sharing and he's telling people about what's going on, even as we speak.
Good deal. Let's
tell them about the weather.
Well, it's going to be sunny for part of today, partly sunny as we're doing this program live at about 11:16 Eastern Time. But by mid-afternoon to late afternoon, we could see some rain moving in. Showers are also likely for Friday and Saturday. Highs in the mid-70s and partly sunny skies returning on Sunday with temperatures for a high that day in the, I believe it's the upper 60s to low 70s.
Cool. Really cool. Mm-hmm. All right, coming up in a moment, we'll take a look at what's making news for us across the Scioto Valley. Also, look at sports and this date in history for the educational portion of our program with Mr. Scholar Mike Smith. But first, let's tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters. 740-253-8389 is the number to call if you have need for a dumpster at your business or your home. They can take care of that for you. Give them a call, 740-253-8389.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad on littermedia.com.
We hope that you go to our website, littermedia.com, because that's where you can find a lot of the information that we'll be sharing with you today. You can also see the YouTube player we have on the side there, where you can see some of the most recent interviews we've done on YouTube as well. All of our social media contact information is in the upper right-hand corner at littermedia.com. chillicothe.media.com. Where are we starting this morning?
In a follow-up to a special edition interview that we had with Mayor Luke Feeney last week, yesterday the mayor decided to veto the recently passed Chillicothe City Council legislation that banned homeless encampments on city property. You might recall during that interview at the time when I asked if the mayor was going to sign it, he said, I don't know yet. He said he had some concerns about some of the language. For example, instead of maybe, it probably should be shall be against the law or whatever. Plus, he was concerned about the close vote. Now, City Council with a 2/3 majority could veto or override that veto, but of course they've not met yet to take any action on that. But as of yesterday, the mayor did veto that legislation.
I'm trying to recall, did he say he's never vetoed anything?
That is
during
correct.
He
said that.
Mayoral days? Okay. Just wanted to follow up on that. So here's something for you coming up in June. It is the 4th annual Kenworth Truck Parade, June 14th through downtown Chillicothe. 50 trucks have been selected from all across North America to showcase their rigs and the Kenworth brand, many built right here in Chillicothe. The last entry of the parade is always a band on that flatbed. That has been a fantastic moment. People are impressed with their playing through the entire parade. Well, that's going to be Blaine Bunting this year from Nashville, Tennessee. So looking forward to that in mid-June.
The Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Wildlife has announced Ohio wildlife officers Isaiah Gifford and Matt Roberts each received the National Pope and Young Club's Wildlife Law Enforcement Officer Award for their work on a white-tailed deer poaching investigation. Now, Roberts, who's on the right, is from Greenfield, Ohio. Gifford, although he's working out of the Wilmington office, he's originally from Zanesville. These two guys also were the first officers from Ohio to ever receive this national award and the first co-recipient. So kind of a big deal, a national honor for these two wildlife officers.
Congratulations. Chillicothe Art League Spring Open exhibition is wrapping up at the Pump House Center for the Arts, so if you want to see it before it closes, get out there this Saturday. There are 106 exhibits that are on display, and it is art from all over those who are participants in the Chillicothe Art League.
Also coming up this weekend, the 53rd annual Pike County Dogwood Festival in Piketon. That's April 25th through the 27th. Be sure to visit the website or social media page of the Ohio Fair and Event Association for a complete schedule of events, and their website is ofea.org. I've been in the parade for this. So I'm sure you probably have too.
One of the first events I covered when I started working at Waverly Radio was the Piketon Dogwood Festival. However, it was on the streets of Piketon back then.
Correct.
The last few years, it's been at the Pike County Fairgrounds. So make sure that you are aware of that, which you'll see signage when you get to. You can't miss Piketon when you go down 23, no question. Lydia Price was in studio with us earlier today. Young Life is who she's with, Young Life Ross County, and talking about the spiritual mentoring agency of Young Life Ross County. They'll be sending 30-plus kids to camp this season, but they're hoping for more.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Camp in the summer is a part of the Young Life culture, and this summer we're going to Timberwolf, which is a camp up in Michigan, like you said. Right now we have about 35 students from Ross County signed up to go to camp this summer, and we're really excited about it. This will be one of our biggest camp trips to date, and we're hopeful to fill a charter bus. So a charter bus is 56 seats. So the hope is that we will fill a charter bus full of Ross County students.
They'll also have a golf outing fundraiser, if we can see that poster here for you this morning, and that's going to be June 27th, and a shotgun start at 10 a.m. on that day, and also a rummage sale, and this is how they help fund a lot of what they do with the kids through Young Life Ross County. Again, you can find more details when you go to our YouTube channel, and that's where you'll be able to hear more of that conversation I had with Lydia Price.
When you've heard a lot of discussion from those in the ecology world about wetlands, you probably think, okay, what exactly is this? Well, the Pickaway County Soil and Water Conservation District posted this very helpful graphic from H2 Ohio. And I was reading through this yesterday. We shared it on our social media as well. I thought it was really fascinating to see all of the things that wetlands do to filter water in streams, rivers, and so forth. Mm-hmm. Give that a look. I think you'll even be fascinated, and a bit of education there as to just how important wetlands are for all of us.
There's a wetland area in between the dam at Lake White and the Scioto River, and it's a spillway, but it acts as a natural wetland area. It's really fascinating just to go and look at that stuff, right, too. So study that graphic and then go to one of the local dams like Paint Creek and check all that stuff out, Rocky Fork, and you'll see why they are set the way they're set.
Yeah, very helpful for all of us. That's it.
Road report.
Yes. We're going to Hocking County today, a pedestrian safety improvement project on West and East Main Streets in Logan. Work taking place on the shoulder and the sidewalk next to the roadway. Flaggers are being used to keep traffic going through daytime hours. There's also a 15-foot lane restriction, and this work will be taking place now through September the 30th.
All right, coming up in a moment to look at sports. Also, our Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week announcement. That's just around the corner as well. But first, let's tell you about Haynes Total Health Care Center. Chiropractic, physical therapy needs, nutritional needs, they've been taking care of that for more than 50 years now. Dr. Jeff Haynes opened this up back in 1974, and they have expanded greatly with the number of doctors, massage therapists, and more. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you to hayneshealth.com.
Wherever you are there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Sorry, we were having a meeting on the air, off the air, or off the air, on the air. It's now on the air.
I was doing my zero turn.
Mike is preparing for the spring sales event at Hometown Motors Incorporated, 818 Eastern Avenue in Chillicothe. Okay, now perform here. New riding tractors starting at $1699.99. New zero-turn mowers starting at $3399.99. This is where you're supposed to spin around.
Oh, okay.
Because you can do that with a zero-turn. Can't do that with a riding tractor. New walk-behind starting at $399.99. New chainsaws. Here we go. Get that baby started there. Starting at $279.99. New blowers. Starting at $199.99. New trimmers.
Aaron could do this one.
He got a haircut yesterday. Starting at $229.99. And hurry in to get the best selection. And ask Scott to portray all of these for you. I'm sure he would say, how about we let the machines speak for themselves? Yeah. With prices like this, they won't last long. Hometown Motors, your store for the outdoors. Time now for sports.
SVC, baseball and softball, both closed out their first round. In softball, Piketon, a convincing win over second-place Zane Trace, 10-0 in 6 innings. With that win, Piketon now with a 2-game lead over second-place Zane Trace as they head to the second round. Westfall, Unioto, and Southeastern were also winners. And softball from the MSL Buckeyes. Circleville beat Amanda Clear Creek. This was a wild one. Bloom Carroll ended up beating Fairfield Union 16-9, but they trailed earlier on. BC is now 16-0 in the season. Logan Elm was also a winner, as was Fisher Catholic and Millersport. In the SOC, West, Wheelersburg, Valley, Sims Valley, Portsmouth Clay, all winners. In the TVC, Wellston and Athens. In the OCC, it was Lancaster and Tays Valley, all winners. In non-conference play, we see Miami Trace, Washington, Liberty Union, Notre Dame, Nelsonville, York, Jackson. Jackson actually won 2. They're still out of state. That's why they haven't been playing their FAC games, both baseball and softball, here over the last this past week. In baseball, Unioto finishes the first round with an 8-6 win over Huntington. The Shermans are now 7-0 in the conference. Zane Trace remains just 1 game back in baseball with an 8-1 win over Piketon. Westfall was a winner over Radina. Southeastern beat Paint Valley. In the MSL, it was Circleville. Bloom Carroll, they're in first place by themselves. Despite that win over them by Circleville, they remain a game ahead of Circleville in their standings. Hamilton Township was a winner, so was Byrne Union, Rosecrans, Fairfield Christian, and Millersport. And you can catch up with the other winners there as well. OCC baseball, Newark beat Lancaster 4-0. Newark is 5-1 in the conference. The Gales in baseball are 5-2. Okay, and then I think we have tennis.
I want to say Tays Valley is like 5-1 also.
They said they were tied for first. That could be. Chillicothe, for the second time this year, beat Waverly. Remember the last time they snapped that 113-match win streak. Athens also was a winner over Jackson.
We've got high school volleyball for you tonight on the radio. This, to my knowledge, is the first broadcast of boys volleyball
by a commercial radio station in this area.
How about that?
So Litter Media making some history tonight.
And we pull out the big guns for this, too.
Yeah, Dean of Volleyball coach Laura Smith, who just happens to be my wife. She'll be on hand, volunteering her time. And the JVs start around 5:30. So somewhere in the neighborhood, 6:45 airtime, and possibly a first serve around 7 at Chillicothe High School's the Cavs, who are 11-1, take on 10-6 Whetstone.
Mm-hmm. On to Reds baseball, they escaped with a win from Miami, 5-2 the final there, and they did a great job in coming back and making some things happen. This Austin wins. He is, I think he's 9 of 11 for his last 11 at-bats.
Yeah.
And he's doing well behind the plate. And you still don't have Tyler Stevenson back yet.
Yeah. Who's he?
Tyler is available beginning this weekend. So they've got an off day today, and they jump into a weekend set. Can't remember who Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At Colorado, who has the worst record in Major League Baseball going into tonight's play. And the Guardians slipped up to the Yankees, 5-1 the final there. Yanks win that one. Cleveland Cavaliers lead their series 2-0 over the Miami Heat with a 121-112 victory. Game 3 in Miami Saturday.
You know, they were talking about after that Reds game, the Reds were flying to Colorado, which is a 4-hour flight. Mm-hmm. Miami is flying to Seattle 7+ hours. Mm-hmm. They said that's almost as long as it takes to fly from Cincinnati to London, England.
Yeah.
I think Cowboy said, I hope they got the recliner seat there on the airplane.
And I'm trying to figure out why it takes 7 hours to fly from there unless they are doing on a low budget.
Well, you're way down there in southern Florida, and you're going to I guess Alaska would be the farthest northwest in the United States, but next to that, it's Seattle. So, there you go.
Well, it is a 5-hour flight from San Francisco to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So, I guess that does make sense. Yep. Never thought about that before. All right, coming up in a moment, it is our Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. So, find out more in just a moment. But first,
Yeah, we want to tell you about our good folks at Litter Quality Propane. Online all the time. Customer payment, account information, and more. Log on at litterpropane.com.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today. Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. No purchase necessary.
Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
For nearly 50 years, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing has been your trusted comfort advisor. Whether it's commercial stuff that they do, and they do a lot of that, where they're putting in warehouses and all that kind of stuff, they are doing a lot of the big, putting these air conditioning units on top of the big warehouses. Of course, they are the number one, the 2025 Contractor of the Year, Commercial Contractor of the Year by the National Air Conditioning Association. Wanted to make sure we threw that out there as well. Accurate, if you want to find out what they can do for your home, they do that stuff too. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. It takes you right to their website, which is accuratehvac.com. Time now for our Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week Award. Today, we want to congratulate Maggie. Mm-hmm. Maggie is a cute little pug there, almost 5 years old. She is the daughter of Belva May. We'll throw that out there, dog daughter. Mm-hmm. And she's just recently been diagnosed as a diabetic. She takes insulin 2 times a day. She also has pancreatitis, and since she was had that since she was 2, just a few days ago, we were told that she has an intervertebral disc disease as well. Wow. She has had a rough journey so far, and she has her good days and her bad days. I imagine you would, having those ailments, but still pushing through. She's a great dog, and in spite of the pain, she still loves her walks and car rides and, of course, her food, and is a great big sister and tries to keep up with Minnie, whom is just a year old with lots of energy. Congratulations to Maggie, our Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. If you would like to submit your pet, please do so by sending us an email to littermedia@gmail.com. Don't forget to tell us about your pet and also include a photo as well. And then at the end of the year, we'll announce our Pet of the Year, and it could be your pet. Thank you again to Petland for sponsoring this portion of the program. Time for this date in history.
Going back to 1800, if you like to read, you'll be happy to know about this. President John Adams approves legislation to appropriate $5,000. That was a lot of money in 1800. It's a lot of money now for a lot of us to purchase such books as may be necessary for the use of Congress, thus establishing the Library of Congress. The first books ordered from London. Isn't that the way it goes? You just whoop them in the war, and then you go to London to buy the books. Arrived in 1801 and were stored in the U.S. Capitol, the library's first home. The first library catalog, dated April 1802, listed 964 volumes and 9 maps. 12 years later, the British Army invaded the city of Washington and burned the Capitol, including the then 3,000-volume Library of Congress. What a slap in the face. You go to London to buy the books, and then they come to London and burn it down. Mm-hmm. But that all started on this date in 1800.
I think we need to put this photo up on our screen here, so I'm going to send it to Aaron so that he has this.
You don't need to do that.
Oh, sure. Sure.
And what is it again?
It is, I saw him ripping this out of his wallet, so I knew it was either one of two things, and I'm glad it was this thing that he was ripping out. But he has for us, here it is.
Yeah.
This is, you going to pull it up?
Is this
I'll just take it to the camera.
Is this his library card?
This is his actual Library of Congress card
how about
itself.
Look
there.
at that hair.
Yeah.
No hair compared to now.
You see now why he has long hair. Look at those ears.
I think I was 16 in this picture.
I thought it was
15
Dan
or
Ramey
16.
as a kid when I first looked at it.
Yeah. He was a verified miner, as in O-R, not a coal miner at all. But Aaron Glandon.
It's not valid anymore. It's expired. I don't know why I still have it.
So how much time did you spend in the Library of Congress?
15 minutes.
Just long enough to get that card?
Pretty much.
It probably took longer to produce the card than it did for your visit.
Yeah, exactly.
What were you looking at in the Library of Congress?
I remember I looked at some of the original Batman comics from the 40s because they had them on the you could like put your eyes up to the thingy.
Oh, we're not using this camera.
No,
Yeah.
up to the
viewfinder.
The viewfinder and read through the comic.
The GAF. What was that? What was that called?
Fish something.
Fisher Price?
No, the Fish Film.
Fish Film.
Yeah,
that's what they had the comics on.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought maybe this was after the movie National Treasure, and you were going in there to look for the book of the presidents that has all the secrets about JFK and aliens and all that type of thing. But apparently not.
He was there to see Batman comics.
I got you.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, I guess. But what was that? Henry Fonda was
Viewmaster.
Viewmaster.
Yeah,
I think that's what
I
it
had
was.
one of those. Yeah,
but
a
it
lot of
was
slides.
But it wasn't Fisher Price.
No.
Was it Hasbro?
That I can't answer that. But I had one because I used to have slides of dinosaurs and historical places. And
for kids who are watching this and are like, well, first of all, if they're still sticking around for this, they have to be because it's the educational portion of the program, right?
That's right.
GAF was the producer of these films, and they were on a disc like this, and they were little tiny celluloids, and you put it into this viewfinder. You go like this through the viewfinder, and you click, and it spins it around.
It's like a slideshow projector.
And without the lighting. I mean, if you wanted to view it best, you would look at the lights, and you'd be able to get that through there. But it was kind of like, remember all the theaters you would see in the 1950s when people wore the 3D glasses?
Right.
And you see this audience of people, and they all have these funky-looking glasses on. Of course, all that came back in the 1990s. But at this point, you would see people holding these little tiny projectors up in front of your face, and you've got one right there.
Maybe Viewmaster was the name because I'm looking it up here. You can still buy them. They had like the circular wheel with the pictures on them, and it just says Viewmaster. So maybe that was the name brand of the product. I don't know.
Doesn't say who produced it, though.
I was just a kid at the time. I didn't care who made it. I just was wanting to.
Because it was cool. You're looking at dinosaurs.
Sure.
And they looked like they were in true to life form.
And then Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah, we were living in a 2D world.
Yeah.
And then here kids started learning about computers, and next thing you know, they became movie producers.
It says a must-have addition to any toy collection. So they didn't even look at it as educational. This is a toy. I was getting an education out of this.
Oh, yeah.
So there you are, Viewmaster. Right.
Whenever you can find those at, like, I don't know.
Antique stores?
Yeah, maybe antique. Oh, speaking of antique stores, did you see the news about the guys who, they go around, help me with the name. They're on the History Channel.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
American Pickers.
Yes.
They're closing down the Nashville store.
Oh, really?
So the only one they're going to have available now is the one in Iowa, which was the original, from what I understand. And that's where the WBEX clock was. And then when I reached out to ask about the clock, which we saw on the program, and how many people send us texts, phone calls, and everything saying, hey, have you seen this? Yes, they're running a rerun. And I reached out to the store, and they said they sold it. And so then Amy Hamilton from here in Chillicothe, she was on vacation, stopped in at the store. This was after they told me they sold it. And she said, it's there at the store. I see it. But it was like $700+ and we weren't going to scrounge up money for that.
I had somebody at the softball broadcast the other night talking about that.
Is that right?
It's like every time somebody sees you, it's like, hey, did you know? Yeah, I know.
But we have talked to people that were involved with the radio station back at that time, and none of them knew about it. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, is this something that was made but never used in a promotional capacity?
I'm guessing that when Truman Moore sold it, because when you and I were there, and I was there before you, I think didn't we talk to Mac Porter about this?
We talked to Mac Porter about
Because Mac would have been there under Truman.
Trying to think if it was Truman's daughter, moved down to North Carolina. I had reached out, and they didn't know anything about the clock.
I'll be darned. Maybe Truman just took it and
I don't know.
Did whatever, because I think he went south after he sold the radio station. So.
I want to remind you, you have a special edition.
We do have a special edition coming your way.
14 minutes.
We're scheduled for noontime today. It may be a little bit after noon, but we're talking about National Day of Prayer. So that's coming your way in just a bit. So stick close for that. For Aaron Glandon, who's on his way to Circleville, he just went off camera. Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We'll talk to you again tomorrow with another edition of Literary.